am live. Hello out there. Oh, damn it. Interesting. Just kind of pulled my ceiling apart. Hey guys, it's the Tin Man here. I'm going live. So I gotta kind of keep talking when my car falls apart. How's that gonna work for viewing? There we go. I gotta kind of shut a bit. So anyways, I did a title of, I think it's a pretty big name person. Hello out there. I just kind of felt like jumping on here and talking a bit and shooting the stuff. Cheers, Warnock. How are you doing, brother? Got a little bit of eye protector there now. Not so bright on the eyes. But I was just thinking about, there's a video out right now that has gotten a little bit of attention. As far as I know, it might be somebody from back east in Canada, maybe Toronto area, and it sounds like they've totally done a spoof. Hey, Cindy? A total spoof where they're trying to make it realistic, and he's walking along with his camera like this, and the whole time there's, well, maybe not the whole time, but for whatever they show there, the 20-30 seconds or something, there's somebody jumping along, and it's being broken down that it's somebody in a suit and stuff, and I'm just like, wow, like people are still willing to do that kind of crap, right? Especially when it's got a guy with an ongoing channel, I think. Like, I don't know who he is, but I wouldn't doubt it if he's, just by guessing, I wouldn't doubt it if he's, because I think I've heard his name before. I think it's a West guy or something, so I wouldn't doubt it if he's like at 5,000, maybe more subscribers and such. And now he's doing a video, I'm trying to set this up better, but he's doing a video claiming really that he's not a believer. There's no way, trust me, you guys, and I think probably real believers, yeah, you can't, and the thing about faking the real deal there, Warnock, is you can't fake it, you're right. We can spoof though, but the thing is, for me to do that now, and actually go to the forest, because remember, my story is different than what this guy's even now at all got a clue to. He's actually just washed him, hey everybody, he's totally washed himself out of any competition for being actually a mind and a person and a researcher and stuff that you would want to put any attention to, because it's such a real thing. So, in other words, what I'm saying is, if I were to put on a suit and stuff and go into the bush and stuff, I don't like what I might be really telling to them, because that's where I see them standing. They're going to see me doing it. They're going to be in the area. Like I tell you guys, they own the forests. Some forests are going to be lighter duty and lighter population. Some forests are going to be heavier duty and heavier population. And I'm telling you right now, heavy populations are heavy populations. And I live in heavy population. So I'm not going to be a stupid clown and go out there and do an interruption with them like that. Like putting on a suit and going into their yard, right? And fine, he can do whatever he wants. But they know he's got no clue, right? By observing that. Me, I don't know what they really follow in me, right? Because I've been around them so many times, I don't really know on where their comfort is with me. I know they're pretty darn comfortable, because I'm still alive, and it's been over a year now that I had my first experience, and since that time I've had a lot of experiences. So I'm going to say some hellos. So I got a few people out there. Mr. Brown, how are you, sir? Brown Dwarf. And we got Tupac. The real white Tupac is in the house. Right on, guys. Cindy, true, it may be seen as a threat to them. Yeah, I totally you get me, man. I am not trying to threaten anybody's. Greetings back to you, brown dwarf. How you been out there, brother? You taking it easy? Have you ever come around to getting me on that video? And don't ever put that video into a file. Put it into your special file. You know how we can make files, right? Put it into your special file, because someday you're going to want to examine. Well, we're going to have better equipment. We're going to start. There's going to be smart guys out there now that are starting to take different, like police, like say, a program where these pictures are just going through the system and they're trying to pick up certain things about it or whatever. I don't know if that's real, but they show it on TV like it's real. Anyways, so the same thing's going to happen. We're going to have all this camouflage of stuff. And there's going to be systems out there that can pick out an eye, that can, whatever. But there's going to be programs that can do that, and it's going to make our jobs so much nicer. Data warning, data warning. What? You got to leave? Take care. Have a good one. It's all good, man. I still got lots of people watching, and if I don't, then people come in and watch. So, yeah, I first just wanted to put out that clown, West person or whatever, for people to do that. It's just really pathetic when people do that kind of fake stuff. If you really listen to my words and stuff and read my words, because the words are actually really important to me. And I may have a couple of times stated an impression or fully out that I'm seeing somebody out there in the bush. But I generally won't do that until, like in my few 100%, and one of them, and each of them, the three of the 100%, all have a backup thing. I got to see them through the camera. I got to see two of them through my eyes. The other one was I got to hear them through the camera, like later. So I was taping him, but I got to hear him with my ears. And so those are getting two things, and they're getting my senses into it. So you guys want to rely on me, and you're just looking at one of these senses. And so those are the three in my 100% that I say, the vocalization one and my two first experiences, because I was able to connect in. There's other ones where stuff was going on, like where I went and got my camera, because when I was standing there looking, I thought I could see a black shape on top of a stump sort of thing that was giving me the idea of a head and such like that. So then I went and got my camera. When I came back, it was gone. And then there ended up being a bunch of activity around there, and this is my waterfall clan. But anyways, that was from a long time ago, but so in other words, what I'm throwing in is there's tons and tons of views. When you see people and you're not quite up on all the views, I mean, you're not able to pick them all out. Just think of it this way, that you get better and better. I'm still getting better when I watch them on video and go back and look at them. I'm still getting better at being able to pick up more features, more beings in the area, just whatever. It's really confusing, and most of the time we're not catching them out in the open, guys. We're not really catching them where they're just coming and they're like this, and the camera can pixelate them that well. There's usually a bunch of camouflage, and that's why the people talk about this plant thing and stuff to some degree, and some other degree. Plants and stuff have faces in them. You can see a couple of eyes and maybe a nose in that one. My hand's just doing that, right? And not to be sarcastic, it's, people are looking at real things and they got to break through that. Just like when we're looking at a real video, what I say are my real videos, telling you, try to break through it. I done a little 50-second clip in there that is on high def. That gives you 50 seconds of looking at that in particular frame through the 2-minute part that I always put so much on my first face-to-face. And so that's a 50-second clip, and it's in high def, and it gives you different depths and stuff. It's really cool looking at that one. I really enjoyed. That's why I left it on that. It gave you a number of different options you could do. but the high def one really it ended up breaking up the plants a little bit, and it made the colors change in such a way it separated them a lot instead of like they're all together. Because when they're all together and your eyes are seeing them all together, it's harder to see through. But then when you can start realizing, oh, that plant's actually way over there, and then these things have hairs off of them, you know, these different plants and stuff going on and stuff. This is a studied art of theirs, you know, like they are, you know, I don't know if the natives, the Indians so-called in this area or whatever, did ever have relationships with them, but I bet you they would have used a lot of their techniques in hiding and being able to sneak up on, you know, any of the imposters or hunting or whatever old native techniques probably may have very well come out from these guys. I mean, I don't doubt that there's been times where I'm walking in certain areas now where I've stood that there's probably been guys who are just buried right there where the other ones maybe just buried him up. And he wanted to stay that close on the path, and luckily I never, for whatever reason, walked that way. But those are going to be the times where you're going to notice maybe quicker chirps and something that's catching your attention or whatever, or the life energy itself just not allowing you to walk that way or whatever type thing, right? So, bizarre. So, and then the other thing I wanted to talk about there was, yeah, in our country here, up here in Canada, you know, up in our interior a little bit, since I think last Sunday. I haven't checked back today, but I did check in for the first time yesterday because I heard. It was funny when the guy not funny, but when the guy was telling me about it, because he was involved in part of the search and checking to see about more search and rescue guys coming and helping on the search. So anyways, when he said his little bit about it, I went right away and I just pictured, it was funny because not funny, but he had said that there was, that it was a mushroom picker. It's kind of weird because I just went with the ease of it, I think, and I just pictured a young guy. That's all I thought was a young guy. And then we both said, you know, well, hopefully things work out well or whatever type thing, right? Anyways, then I did, you know, I got curious, started getting curious, so I decided to shoot it up on the Google search or whatever. It ends up being a 50-something-year-old lady, mushroom picker, and it is a native lady too, right? And I've said this before, and I do not want to be ignorant to anybody that's listening. I say to any women, don't go under 2, and even 2 is getting to a number where, you know, if you're going to be 2, make it seem like you're aware of everything going on or whatever, or maybe over paranoid or whatever, and just make noises that are over paranoid, and it makes others over paranoid or changes their, you get that. And I double it, you know, not to say like, you know, with the native ladies or whatever type thing, man, I just say to them, in a bigger thing, make sure you follow that rule and don't split away from your party. And that's what I kind of understand happened. They're out there mushroom picking and they split apart, and these guys are track coverers. So I bet you what's maybe because, you know, if she's not ended up being found or something finds her. We all know that. Something out there will find her, sniff her up and find her. But if it happens to be the beings that I'm worried about that it could be being, they're track tricksters. I've talked hundreds of tapes on their track trickstering now. Hundreds of tapes, videos on it. I would say in the 100 for sure. And in the hundreds where I videotaped a lot of it, but maybe I wasn't necessarily always talking about this being part of their track mimicking or fooling or whatever type thing, right? So it's a bizarre world. And not only do they do this track pretending and faking and stuff, that a lot of those trackers aren't going to be able to get past. They're probably sometimes coming across some stuff and they're thinking, what were the wolves doing around here? And they're probably confused. And this is what gets to this thing that we're doing right now here is the opening door for them to start to realize to what extent. You know, I don't doubt that some of the footprints that people have, like where we think it's a real Bigfoot's footprint, I've seen so many fake footprints, I'm sorry, but that goes into the equation too. There's some of those are just going to be them having their fun. In that area, they might be all 9-10 inches or something. And for whatever reason, they just decide to make a print there or whatever. I don't know. They're tricksters. They're fooling us. It's more they're foolers. Or what somebody said the other day, and it made me think about that, because we got clue in to the personality type that comes along with that. Brown Dwarf is saying, yep, mushroom picking can be dangerous. Yeah, 3 women, separate cases, went missing last season in my... Yeah, I'm telling you, man, I wonder if there's been... Hello, Karen. I wonder if there's... Hey, Victory. Thanks for coming out. Thanks very much for coming out, joining in. Yeah, I wonder if there's any... backup information, because you think about it, man, it's the wrong time of year for us to give up on looking for those 3 women, for there not to be any signs. It's the wrong time of year, right? And as time goes on, yes, it does lose all the signs, especially in this field. What's up, Ian? Bigfoot Memphis. Just hanging out, brother. Just hanging out. Just doing the stuff, talking the stories. Maybe yelling. Trippy though. They were found, but they were out there for a few days. Yeah. Yeah, you never know, like... You know, maybe they do that same thing, how they test the deer and stuff, like they'll keep the deer and they'll have the deer herded and get it onto the diet either that they're enjoying, or they're just keeping the deer alive until they really need it in that next week or whatever type thing. And a deer doesn't really know that. How I'm going to see it is, like, I think that some of these deer I've come across and they're tame, I'm probably coming closer to them and the deer is seeing me, and I don't believe that these beings are necessarily letting it have themselves that relationship with the deer. I think it's more based on a spook thing, and it's easier for the overall control. Anyways, so you think about that, you know, with some of these people, and then they just push them to the point of... But then I think there would be fails on that, where people would end up coming through. Yeah, something was spooking me the whole 3 days I was out there, and it's like I just kept on walking on circles, and then finally you guys came with the helicopter, and, you know, and we never get a story like that, so I can't see how they can't make a fail. Things that go bump in the night, yeah, I hear you. Okay, so you had a couple of vocals today. Neat. And be prepared for bird sounds and all that kind of stuff, guys. Like, I don't know, somebody just get back in the wagon again, or like just join back in recently too. Other than Thinker Thunker. If you're not a Thinker Thunker fan, then I highly recommend him. It's good to see him back in the game. I really want to talk to him, and he's in Washington, and he's even thought about moving out to British Columbia, so I really want to talk to that man. But there was somebody else. What was the hint I was getting there? Yeah, you had some fake birds. Yeah, so that's right. Somebody else who just... Oh, yeah, somebody from Toronto, I think, and he's maybe come back into the game again. He hasn't, maybe... But anyways, it was like it was dated from 2015, and it was Door Creek fakes. And he goes through with the subtitling there, and he explains when the fake creeks are happening and stuff. And it's like, yeah, I know these guys well enough, and I know they would do that. Do I have any boulders in my area? Huge. Are you talking about mountain type rock and so on and so forth? Because I'm in a very mountainous area. I'm in a very rocky area. We have areas where it'd be thickened soil, mass amounts of rock, okay, and separated from where it's, all the different degrees of granite type solid rocks to all these different kinds and slate rocks and stuff. And also even where it's round boulder style, like old river rock, even where they get ginormous and they're meters big, that size, like number of cubic meters big, and they're still like rolled rock, right? And then and in these things, and pretty much all our different rock forms that I've been watching, along with our concrete in different spots too, they muck around with it and they chip at it and break it up, and yeah, they're naturally like that, I think, maybe, but they're causing a lot of problems. And like our river, that's why I talk about the river so much, and that's why I talk about the Big Fraser River. And they do so much rock removal and our engineers here, because you're not thinking about somebody stealing a rock, so all you think is it must be sloughing down. It must be sloughing down. You can't think it's blowing up. You can't think it's rolling, or whatever. So all they do is think it's kind of sloughing, and they're being picked away and stuff is what the problem is. I predict that our Fraser Valley here, the way our weather's going right now and stuff, and I'm understanding a change in our weather even to do with this, you guys. And that's really weird, I know, but all of it is just related, is where it's going. You can just try relating things and see if it comes out, right? Anyway, so the river, yeah, I think there's a really big chance we're going to have a big problem with flooding this next year. If we end up having a lot of water, a lot of snow, a lot of whatever, because that always does us in. If we have high waters in our winter, a lot of rain, and then a big snow load up on the top, and if for some reason our system changes enough to make it just rain here a lot, we will automatically 100%, because our mountains are big around here. We will get a big snow load up there, and then accumulated with this, and then accumulated with next year in the summer and the spring and stuff starting to come in, all that weather and this stuff melting and rain, and it's caused us problems before when there isn't a problem in our system. Now it seems, if you ask me, and where I'm going to go with that problem part is, I've told you guys and talked a lot about leaves. Just pounded on my videos about leaves and stuff overgrowing, I think, at least 3-folds than last year and previous years. Our tree population is just huge. The filling in and things and so on and so forth. Right now we're, the 18th or something like that in October. And yeah, we're getting a lot of beautiful trees and stuff starting to change over in color. But we're not getting a horrendous amount yet. And I have talked about these guys maybe going up there and changing the flavor of the tree so it drops its leaves. I've talked about this months before and stuff. So how much really is in that control of the fall and them having something to do with it? I don't know. But anyway, so our trees they're not near 50% changed in color. And I don't think an eighth into near what have started to drop. And like I said, we're into October the 18th. And some of the colors we're going to see, I've seen in a couple of blocks and stuff where they're all lit up in the beautiful colors, man. It's just I think that's part of the issue, is they're realizing they're going to overwhelm us with colors. And there's going to be photographers out there that thinking that they're just getting the best pictures in the world, man, that it's just going to be that beautiful this year. But anyways, now all that leaf stuff. Now this is you science understanding people. When the sun is out, oxygen is created because the sun takes it in and it goes into, or the tree takes it in and it somehow, I don't know, maybe comes out as bark or whatever. And whatever. I don't feel like doing that. But there's a carbon mix in there. There's the oxygen increase that's supposed to happen from the carbons in the trees, and death of a tree will put off carbon for the rest of its life. It will no longer be putting changing things into oxygen. The tree has to be alive. So now I talk about the sucker system. Does the tree have to be alive and out of the sucker system, or is it all right that it's in the sucker system? Then I talk about the arbutus tree. You see how those leaves are so much different. Why have they become so rubbery? Is it because the arbutus tree that the Bigfoot started stripping 500 years ago or 200 years ago? Pardon me. Did the leaves then change over to this thing? And now does that tree not do the proper oxygen changes? Because that's what's going on here, is these leaves, a lot of them in the early part of the year, they give off that gleam. And a lot of people are talking about it was coming up in comments where people were noticing the shine in the tree leaves and so on and so forth. So there's an abundance of that stuff all going on, and I feel like I'm talking in circles right now. You had some fake birds out there, yeah. Sometimes you should have heard. I felt like taping it, but I was in the back, and I would have, and I probably would have interrupted it, but I did open my door. It was last night, just when I first went to bed, I think, or was it in the middle of the night? One time when I woke up or something, I don't recall. But I think it was all about me. Anyways, and it was the most horrendous. We've all heard those really hee-haw and donkey kind of calls where they're just wee-haw, 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 and they're just going crazy. Well, this one was crazy. It was quite close, like I'm saying close, like it could have been 300 feet close to me. Could have been a little bit further than that, but it was quite close there. And I don't know, but I'm going to say multiple of maybe younger sounding voices and stuff were jumping in and trying to do the same thing. It was almost like Dad doing it. And he okayed the kids to jump in, and they're jumping in at different levels. So they're all doing this donkey call thing that just sounded horrendous. And like, if it was in a subdivision, I kid you not, everybody would have come out of their house. Right, but I'm not staying in it. And I'm talking everybody, because it was like an alarm, like it was so bizarre. So Karen is saying, yes, agree with you. Oh, okay. So let's see what's up here going on. You can tell us. Whoops. Poor connection. Sorry, hopefully you're still there. I think it's all right. You can tell the whistles. Okay, here we go. So you can tell a whistle from a bird, Sasquatch, but they were whistling at each other, distracting me from something. Very cool. Did you pay attention to it, or do you kind of just, like, what do you do in that time, Bigfoot Memphis? Never would know that stuff. I never experienced Bigfoot when I went camping. Yeah, I hear you on that, Victoria. Victory, Leo. I'll call you Leo. Karen, you have a new picture up? Or is this a different Karen? This is Karen Keller. Yeah, you're new to my channel, I think. Alrighty then. Pretty low, how are you? Huh? Brown Dwarf, that's you saying that you're pretty low? Yeah, you paid attention? Because, it's that thing where you start to decide what kind of a relationship you want to kind of build there too, right? On an animal level is what I'm talking about. I don't necessarily think we should commit too much of our personal human stuff thinking we're connecting on that level. Like, I'm not getting that myself, and, you know, I get in there pretty close, so. Oh yeah, there's going to be Bigfoot in Kentucky. If you have trees out there, there's Bigfoot. I don't have a problem saying that now. I think I could pretty much go into any forest and give I don't know, somewhat of a I was going to say conclusion, but you know, I don't know what to say with that, but how my research has sent me down a certain kind of way that where I can just pick up on their physical language of how they're living amongst in the forest. There we go. I'll give it. Oh, nice. So Bigfoot Memphis was saying that there's a shelter near him. And you're thinking that they've had some young in there. For sure, probably. Playing around anyways while Mom was in the area doing some work or something. And, you know, I don't doubt it that there's, you know, that kind of stuff where even if we look at chimpanzees and stuff, you can see where there's daycare sections compared to where the old man hangs out or all the guys hang out. Brown Dwarf saying he's heard lots of stories from Kentucky. Hopefully not fried chicken stories. Fresno, California, they're seeing them. Avocado Lake, family of 5. They are everywhere, man. I mean everywhere. You are right. Okay, so Karen is saying, I still want to know if anyone saw what looked like Sasquatch type hairy legs hanging in trees on Tin Man's video. I posted a time stamp and asked. Oh, okay. I'll check it out. You know what I was doing, guys? I might like this. Like, I was looking at some of my videos, and so I turned this thing around like this and was looking at my video. Here, where's my camera? That's right there, right? Yeah. And I was doing this. And anyways, coming right up to the screen like that. And it's pretty darn cool, man. It's different than us. It's a different it's a magnification that works on the real fine levels of stuff. So if you're thinking you're seeing something really awesome in there, and we try to zoom it out, or we try different things, there's a chance, I would imagine, we're breaking up those pixels and so on and so forth. So doing it like that and having this backwards, I could see some things that were pretty trippy, but I didn't spend too much time on it because it takes a fair amount of, you know, getting into that solid eye kind of concentration thing. I got those turned the wrong way. Thought I'd share that because if you can figure stuff out with different magnifying glasses and stuff, that help you. Yeah, so yeah, I wouldn't doubt it if you're right there, Karen. Like, I was looking when I was in that mode just today, there was a couple of little shots that I had kind of as it was floating by or whatever. I was swearing I was making out hair in there too. So, and I think you're talking about when I'm walking around, if I'm remembering right, when I'm walking around in what I call the, starts with the K, what's his name? Kilby's clan. And I think that was the same spot. Your keyboard is stuck. So Karen Keller, have you ever watched my first face-to-face? You must have watched that one, I'm sure. Victory Leo is saying, well, if I did have a run-in to Bigfoot, I'd probably didn't see it, or I was asleep when I was camping on, yeah, for sure. There was this one time where I was camping. I had my two sons with me. They were pretty young, so I can say maybe 10, 12 years ago or something. We're sleeping in the tent. I think they were both on this side or something, and I think I was on this side. Not a very big tent, so I mean, we're in there, but there's room and stuff. Anyways, I was near the side, one of these people who stay close to the side. Anyways, I just recall something coming right up to where my head was in this region, making a sniffing noise. I'm waking up probably because of its little bit of shuffling that it's doing or whatever, making a sniffing noise right there. I don't recall if my son would remember if I talked about it pushing the tent or anything like that, but I don't think I don't even talk about pushing the tent. Anyways, I remember just kind of waking up and stuff and kind of sitting back. I don't know if I turned on a light. I'm sitting there, look at my boys and stuff, and I'm thinking, should I wake up my boys? And I must have just kind of got tired, probably sat there for another minute. No more noise, laid down, and thought, I'll just listen for a minute. Anyways, I ended up falling back asleep and woke up in the morning with that story. So, I don't have any addition to that story where we got up the next day and seen any mishap or anything. And I'm pretty sure at least my one boy will remember that story for for his own mind to verify. I think a lot of people are probably going to have a certain amount of stories out there that were bizarre and maybe make a lot more understanding. You did the other night? What did you did? You had a run in with somebody out there in the wild? Karen Renee? So, shout out to you ladies, guys too, but things are so heavy now that we might not be able to hear all the missing human reports that go on. And, for a lady to be out there with a partner, get separated far enough only, and her partner kept looking until around, in the 8 p.m., 9 p.m. looking time. I don't know if it was male or female, but they got separated. They didn't meet back at a time they were supposed to. So that partner kept on looking. And that partner never got stirred up, was able to get out to the vehicle, go make the report, and then the search went on. The person had rain gear, had a lighter, obviously it sounds like she has knowledge to be able to probably survive the night and stuff. She had mushrooms that she knows that she can eat and stuff, so, that's more than I know for surviving the night in the forest. And, yeah, and then for her to turn up like that, it's just one of those bizarre, too spooky. We've all been, I know where they'd pick mushrooms and stuff, and I guess there's going to be times where maybe you're picking some that hang out on the cliffs and stuff like that, but then you're going to be there, you know what I mean, right? So, I wouldn't doubt it if there's no trace at all, and whether they find her or not, it's kind of at that season where they try to, because it did start to snow, and I think, there's always going to be that advantage of taking advantage of snow too. So one of my biggest questions that kind of popped into my head with that was, I would just, as bizarre as this sounds, I'd just like to understand what the animal count was in that area and stuff. Like if deer counts are all strong and stuff, because if all those animals are strong, I wouldn't understand if those guys would do it for that bad of a reason, or if they would do it because they just want to, I don't know, have a human or whatever. It's, this is the most bizarre, I've said that a few times live now, because when we're talking live, I feel like I'm really talking to people, right? Or, you really are communicating, right? I know you guys are on that end of it, but, so to be talking about this bizarre of having this bizarre of a conversation, man. Wow. So anyways, be safe, everybody. And I will continue to try to be safe on my end of it. I'm not trying to be stupid. You know, I have my heavy days sometimes, and then you start thinking some stupid. But I got a couple of people that hang out with me a little bit with certain information. Like that legitimate search and rescue guy said to me the other day. He actually said to me that he appreciates me talking to him or whatever. And I said, yeah. And he goes, oh, yeah, for sure, or whatever type thing. He says, you know, he's finding it very informative. He doesn't know where to be yet. You know, many of us don't, right? You need that jolt. And maybe this is all the jolt that he needs anyways. He's a busy man, right? And I don't know how he's talking or anything like that, right? But he said that and so what I said, good, because then I don't have to bug you for another month then. So in other words, in a month I'll be bugging him to hear that reminder again. I guess I'm one of those kind of people that, you know, I appreciate all you people out there who, you know, even if you have disagreements and stuff, we can say things in a mannerful way is kind of how I've always been trying to teach my kids. I mean, remember my youngest son. He was out of 4 kids. I had 4 kids in 4 years and 2 days. So, okay, calm down, ladies. I know that's crazy, but same woman. But 4 kids in 4 years and 2 days. And my last son there ended up having for a number of years this issue with swearing. And from day one, when I started to get after him in doing it and stuff, it was always more of a mentality of don't do it around home, don't do it around the ladies, you know, that kind of, you know, whatever we're strengthening thing there we do sometimes. And because I knew he's going to go and he's going to do it with his brother around the corner, he's going to do it with his friends at school, he's going to do whatever he's doing. He's just having fun. It was mostly, you know, at the level of fun words that we still use, right? So, no, when it was, you know, I don't know if he was using it for the crude thing, but that's me yakking and yakking and yakking. Thank you. Goodbye. I got 5 people up and I'm cutting you off. I know, it's like you're hanging up a phone. You guys are supposed to say to me first, goodbye, Tin Man. I gotta get going. Peace out, everybody. Take care.